What's up YouTube, Mike here with PeoplesChoiceGaming, and today we're going to talk about the Boltor Prime, guys. Now I'm only going to talk about it a little bit because I want to jump right into the guide to modding it because it is just such a good weapon. But trust me guys, I'm going to fully form this for you very soon, and I'm going to get some nice lengthy gameplays of this weapon soon of some high level enemies because it is so good. Guys, look at those stats up on the screen. The Boltor Prime has 54 base damage, more than double the actual regular Boltor. The accuracy at 50, more than double. Fire rate is 10, up from 8.8. The crit's pretty much the same, from 1.5 to 2 for the crit damage multiplier. Status is the same at 10, mag's the same at 60, and the reload's down from 2.6 to 2.4. Which is completely fine, because that's called balance, guys. Because this weapon is just so good. If you don't remember this weapon from back in the day, other than the Gorgon being top DPS, the Boltor was the best weapon about 8 months ago when the game came out, because of a little thing called Armor Ignore. But ever since Damage 2.0, when attributes were taken away from weapons, a lot of really good weapons just became unheard of anymore. They weren't even worth using anymore. But they still held that nostalgia, and we even used them even though they weren't that great because we liked them that much. Now we got the Prime version looking sick as hell. The stats are ridiculous, and my favorite thing about it, which has always been my favorite thing, is it pins enemies to the wall. This is an attribute of bolt weapons, just like the Paris, except it used to be a chance, and now they've changed it so that it happens all the time. Bolt weapons will always carry enemies, and if an enemy hits another enemy, it will kill that enemy. Don't get this confused with punch through though. The Boltor Prime does not have punch through like when you charge up a Paris Prime. When it carries an enemy, that's completely different from punch throughs. You cannot shoot through walls with this weapon. And just if you're wondering guys, I've also broke this weapon down with no Forma against a 6 Forma Soma, and it actually did more damage in a 5-shot test. But don't get your hopes up though, because of that ridiculous double fire rate the Soma has, it is still the top DPS weapon. Alright guys, let's go ahead and go over modding your Boltor Prime at level 30 with the Catalyst. Remember the weapon comes with a sideways D and a V polarity. Whenever I get over my flu here, I will give you a full format build. However, remember, we're not going to be using the sideways D polarity. We'll actually be changing that later on. And we'll talk about that more in the future. Now let's start with a Grenier build. We got split chamber in the V polarity. You could put heavy caliber in, doesn't matter. You can take heavy caliber all the way if yours is up all the way. And we got Serration. And then we got Radiation. Hellfire and Storm are going to make Radiation. Best combo for a highest level Grenier. Now, just to play around, I tried out, adding like a full ice and a full toxin to make viral. Because it seems like you do more damage, right? Drop heavy caliber, add 180% more mod damage, and a 75% bonus. Truth is, overall, not going to happen. Because what they don't tell you, what you don't understand is a lot of people see on Wiki, that 75% bonus, and they think, bam, I'm getting 75% bonus. It don't work like that, though. There's an armor algorithm that people don't understand, and after I've worked it out, it's going to be a lot better in your favor to keep your radiation for the highest level Grenier on, like, defenses and survival. What it's going to come down to is you're going to have a group of very heavy Grenier that are heavily armored that you're going to do a good bit more damage with this build right here over having Viral on and taking heavy caliber off, and even the medium Grenier, let's call them, that have less armor, you're still going to do more damage with this right here than having Viral on and taking off heavy caliber. And then the very few enemies, like Scorpions, Shield Lancers, stuff like that, very few enemies that have a little more health than armor, on those enemies, you will do a little bit more damage if you were to put Viral in and, you know, of course have your radiation and take heavy caliber off. But there's no reason to do that. It's going to be a slight damage increase. Those enemies are going to be really easy to kill. And with this build right here, not only are you going to be able to do more damage against twice as many enemies, but you're going to be doing a lot more damage against a big group of enemies, the real nasty ones and the heavily armored ones, even with 180% more mods. That's just how big of a deal armor plays. And the higher level the enemies gets, if you're someone that likes to do really long survival defenses, or someone that wants to do really long survival defenses, which a lot of you have asked me to help you with, well, this is a little pro tip for you guys. You want to really work on that radiation. The armor is going to scale up high, and that viral ain't going to do a damn thing compared to that radiation. And you're wasting mod spots. Do not put the viral on. It's not going to kill you or nothing, just overall it's not going to be the best. And against very high level enemies, it's going to start to hurt you because of how much better you can do. Especially once you start forming the weapon, and you can add more elemental to your radiation, and maybe even a Bane mod to wrap it up for overall best damage, or overall best DPS with a speed trigger. You're going to have a perfect build with a max formed build, which we're going to get into that a whole nother time. But I've already worked the math out, the armor algorithm, and tested every enemy. So just make sure that you follow this completely. Now for the Void, very simple. Corrosive up here for Grineer and Heavy Gunners. It's Infected Clip, Stormbringer, Malignant Force. Everything is full rank. Cryo Rounds by itself for shields and all the Ospreys and the crewmen, just to help you out a little bit with them. And then Serration and Split Chamber. Lastly, we're talking Corpus. Now, like I've said, on many different weapons, it's not a cut and dry thing, guys. You gotta understand that. It's something that has to be tested out. That's why I'm glad I'm able to make these guides for you, because I know the math, I know the equations, and I can test this stuff out for you. And you can also painstakingly just shoot 1,000 enemies and average it out, which that can get really confusing. But on different weapons, on many different weapons, the magnetic against a couple poisons, it's going to end up being about even in the end. However, with this weapon, because of the way the weapon works and because of the weapon's different base damages, especially the puncture, this weapon is overall going to do best with 2 toxin mods. Now, and having the heavy caliber on, which once again you could take that up all the way if you wanted to. And with the leftover points, we're even able to get a fast hands on for a really nice efficiency. And of course, Serration and Split Chamber again. Now, if you wanted to, you could put on a magnetic, electric and ice, and then just put 1 poison by itself, but you don't need to do that. All you're doing is adding a little more overall damage, but just to shields. It makes no point because what you're gonna do is you're gonna bypass the shields altogether. So why do a little more damage to something you're gonna bypass overall? It's better to do a lot more damage to the one thing that's going to be straight to health, especially on a weapon like this. And because of the puncture being where it's at, because of all of our damage enhancing mods, you're going to be fine on all the enemy types. So definitely you want to build like this right here. Now, it's not going to hurt to put magnetic on or nothing. I just want to let you guys know what the core build is for best damage for everything. This is also another reason why I waited a few days to put out the Boltor Prime, so you knew the best core damage. Now, if you're not doing higher level enemies, since we don't have any Forma yet, and you're doing lower level enemies, and let's say you want to lose a little bit of damage, by all means, no big deal. Drop a damage mod out, throw in a fast hands for more efficiency. That's a personal preference thing, and it's not going to hurt anything. You can do that. I leave it up to you by giving you the best damage build, so you can play off it and you can take something out if you would want to put a fast hands on and stuff like that. So please leave a like on this video, because, you know, unlike unlike just reading something off, a website or anything and then copy and paste and stuff, I thoroughly, use all the equations, and I make sure I test it all out to make sure it's right. And I'm glad I'm able to do that for you guys, so you guys will start to get a gist of how the stuff works. And just message me if you need to know anything in more depth. So please comment, like, subscribe. Hope you're loving this weapon like I am, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.